Hello, darlings. You're welcome to Z-Star Africa, your home of sizzling drama recaps. Let's dive deep into the final storm. The tensions, the secrets, the shocking revelations, and the ultimate defeat in Sacred Love's grand finale, where everything comes crashing down. This finale will leave you at the very edge of your seats. Finally, Adja is exposed, defeated, and broken. Finally, Ramber rises and ends Adja's reign once and for all. This finale came with fire. It came with tension. It came with everything we've been waiting for. Believe me, you don't want to miss this one. Like and turn on your notifications for more of your favorites. It only gets more interesting. Let's dive in. It all begins with a tense, choked air in the Bajwa house as Adja demands that Ramber sign the divorce papers, reminding him that he promised and shouldn't think of going back on his words, threatening to call the police if he refuses. Cornered and heartbroken, Ramber tries to make her understand his pain, that although he once loved her deeply, she scattered those dreams with her selfish actions. Meghla, stunned, struggles to accept the reality. Ramber's father, worried that Adja might involve the police, feels guilty for ever trusting her. He realizes how his choices have hurt his son and blames himself for the chaos. Ramber, though broken, assures his father he will keep his word, and he and Meghla share an emotional hug, reaffirming their love and unspoken bond. Adja storms off, and her mother apologizes to Ramber's family for her daughter's shameful behavior. The family finally sees Adja's true face and regrets not realizing her deceit sooner. Meanwhile, Meghla retreats to her room, unable to believe that someone she once cared for could betray her so deeply. Later, Neil visits Ramber, bringing a haldi bowl for the New Year festival. Listening to Ramber's struggles, Neil advises him not to leave Megla's side anymore, because true love deserves another chance. Ramber later walks into his room and finds Meghla standing by the window, quietly gazing at the sky. When he asks what she's doing, Meghla softly says she's looking for a place among the stars where they could live together, far away from everyone. Ramber moves closer, and they share an emotional hug. Tears fill Meghla's eyes as she questions Ramber for making such a painful decision without thinking about her feelings or the promises he made. Ramber gently tells her she may not understand now, but one day she will. Meghla, heartbroken, says there's no point in understanding later when they'll already be apart. Ramber assures her that even if they're separated, their love will never fade. It will only grow stronger. But Meghla sadly reminds him that after tonight, they will no longer be together as husband and wife. His heart aches at her words. Meanwhile, at the Sun house, Adja is seen dancing joyfully in her room. Mahua forces her to open the door, and Adja drags her in to dance, saying she's finally happy. Chandan arrives and angrily tells her to stop her nonsense, questioning her bitterness toward Meghla. Adja mocks him, calling him weak, and says she's suffered enough. Now it's her turn to make others suffer. Mahua breaks down and pleads with Adja to stop, but she refuses, celebrating her so-called victory while her parents leave in despair. Back in Ramber's room, Meghla tells him he'll surely miss her when she's gone. Ramber quietly agrees, making her wonder why he's still accepting Adja's cruel condition. Ramber only smiles and says at least now Meghla knows Adja's true face. Meghla's sadness deepens, but she clings to one wish, to spend her life with him. Ramber reminds her that they only have a little time left as husband and wife, and asks her not to waste it on tears, but to hold on to every precious moment they still have together. Ramber softly sings a song, and Meghla, moved by his voice, becomes emotional. When she tries to leave, Ramber gently stops her and pulls her into a slow dance. Meghla joins him, and together they sing and sway, lost in the moment and in each other's arms. The next morning, Meher finds Meghla in the kitchen and asks what she's doing. Meghla smiles and says she's preparing lunch for everyone. Meher tells her to spend time with Ramber instead, but Meghla explains that since it's her last day in the house, she wants to cook for the family. Meanwhile, Adja wakes up with a smile, convinced this will be the best day of her life. She gets ready, filled with confidence. Back in the kitchen, Meher asks Meghla if she's talked to Ramber about his decision. Meghla defends him, saying she trusts that he has his reasons. Meher, visibly upset, pleads with Meghla not to sign the divorce papers so they won't be separated, but Meghla refuses, saying she will stand by Ramber till the very end. At the Sun house, Adja greets her parents cheerfully at the dining table and tells Mahua she missed her cooking. But Mahua refuses to let her touch her hand. Adja asks if they're still angry about what happened the previous day, saying she was just happy and got carried away. Chandan questions her cruelty and reminds her that God is watching. Adja mocks him, saying no one, not even God, can take her happiness away. Adja informs her parents that she's going to court to prepare the divorce papers. She tells them to be at Meghla's in-laws' house in the evening, and cruelly adds that once Meghla leaves Ramber's home, she'll probably end up singing on the streets to survive. As Adja turns to leave, Mahua stops her, begging her to change her decision before it's too late, saying no one will ever forgive her for this. But Adja coldly replies that she doesn't need anyone's forgiveness, and walks out, leaving Chandan and Mahua heartbroken. At the Bajwa house, Meghla lovingly insists that everyone sit down for breakfast. Zoravar tastes the food and, impressed, asks who cooked it, joking that he's sure it wasn't Meher. When Meher teases him to guess, he smiles and realizes it must be Meghla. He praises her cooking and apologizes sincerely for not trusting her before, admitting he made a mistake by believing Adja instead. Ramber then speaks up, saying they are all kind people. That's why they believed someone like Adja could change. But he admits that Adja has only repaid their kindness with betrayal. That evening, Mahua and Chandan arrive at Ramber's house. Mahua breaks down in tears, confessing that they couldn't convince Adja to change her mind. Chandan too expresses his guilt, and Mahua repeatedly apologizes to Meghla for always supporting Adja and unintentionally pushing her toward this painful situation. Meghla, deeply moved, asks Mahua not to blame herself for Adja's actions. She pleads with Mahua not to carry such heavy guilt for someone else's mistakes. Mahua, moved to tears, tells Meghla she has truly grown up. She admits she used to worry about Meghla's future, but now she feels proud seeing how strong and mature she's become. Meghla softly replies that life's recent trials have changed her and assures Mahua that she'll be fine. Meanwhile, Meher believes Adja might have changed her mind about the divorce since she hasn't arrived yet. Zoravar agrees, hoping Adja will come to her senses. Just then, Ramber walks in and tells everyone not to get their hopes up. Adja will be there soon. Moments later, Adja enters, holding the divorce papers in her hand, smirking at the family for waiting. She proudly says she took her time making sure there were no loopholes in the documents. Then, turning to Meghla, Adja sarcastically calls her the heroine of this story. Meghla says she doesn't want to talk to her, but Adja insists she has no choice. She proudly admits she's happy to ruin Meghla's life. Meghla tells her she's also ruining her own life in the process. Adja coldly replies that she has nothing left to lose, so nothing matters to her. Meghla can only look at her with pity. Meher steps in, warning Adja to stop, but Adja snaps at her, shocking everyone. Zoravar sternly tells her not to cross her limits, but Adja arrogantly declares that she already has, and no one can stop her. She tells everyone to drop their melodrama and stay silent. Bulvir angrily reminds Adja she has no right to insult his family, but she ignores him and slams the divorce papers on the table, ordering Ramber and Meghla to sign them. Ramber stands silent, while Meghla's eyes fill with tears, her heart breaking at the sight of the papers that could end their love forever. Adja impatiently urges Ramber and Meghla to sign the divorce papers. The entire family stands in silence, their faces filled with sadness. Ramber turns to Meghla and tells her that their marriage happened by God's will. And even now, everything that's happening must have a divine reason. He assures her that no matter what, he will always love her. Meghla's eyes well up as she says she feels blessed to have lived as his wife and that her love for him will never end. Adja rolls her eyes and sarcastically asks which of them will sign first. Meghla steps forward, ready to sign, but Ramber gently takes the papers from her and says he will do it. Adja snaps at them to stop their melodrama and just sign. To everyone's shock, Ramber suddenly tears the divorce papers apart. The room freezes, Adja is stunned, and the family is left speechless. Furious, Adja demands an explanation and reminds Ramber of the promise he made to her. Ramber simply laughs, confusing everyone even more. He looks at her and says he actually feels sorry for her. He has never met anyone so foolish. Pulling Meghla close, he tells Adja that she really believed he would divorce the woman he loves more than anything. Adja, losing control, keeps shouting about his promise, insisting he must fulfill it. Ramber calmly replies that he remembers his promise very well, but never realized Adja was such a fool to think he meant it seriously. The family urges Ramber to explain, and he finally reveals the truth, that Adja had plotted everything against them. Everyone is shocked as Adja stands frozen in disbelief. Meghla asks Ramber what's going on, and he apologizes to her and the entire family for keeping the truth hidden and allowing them to suffer because of it. Ramber then reveals that the lab report they received earlier was fake, forged by Adja herself. The real report was positive, proving her malicious intentions. Meghla and the others are stunned. Adja immediately denies it and demands proof. Ramber asks her a simple question. Did she receive a delivery the previous day? Meher quickly steps in, confirming what she saw, that a package had indeed arrived for Adja. Pretending innocence, Adja claims she doesn't remember, saying she's been too busy with other things. Ramber smirks and says Adja's only real work is trying to destroy Meghla's life. Then, to everyone's shock, he calls in the delivery boy and points at Adja, asking him if he recognizes her. Adja's confidence fades. She stands frozen, fear finally flickering in her eyes. She pretends not to know him, but the man exposes her, saying she was the one who collected the lab report from him. Caught off guard, Adja quickly denies it and accuses Ramber of trying to trap her. Ramber, however, presents proof, her signature from the office files, confirming she's lying. Still, Adja keeps up her act, insisting she's innocent. Ramber then dismisses the delivery man and laughs at Adja's false innocence, calling her predictable. He reveals that he spoke with the doctor and got a fresh report from the same samples. He asks Adja to read it aloud. As she reads, everyone is stunned to hear that the spiked juice could actually kill someone. Meghla breaks down in tears while the family looks on in disbelief. Ramber explains that he had already received the report by email, but kept quiet to expose Adja's true face. Adja still denies everything until Ramber calls in the fake delivery man she hired, who confesses the truth before leaving. Meghla's parents are heartbroken, and the whole family is shaken. When Meghla confronts Adja has no words. Zoravar and Meher express their disappointment, unable to believe her cruelty. Ramber reminds Adja of their deal and calls the police, but Meghla stops him. She pleads for Adja to get psychiatric help instead. Tearfully, Meghla tells Adja that she's lost everyone's love and trust. Adja collapses emotionally, realizing she has no one left to believe her. That, my darlings, marks the end of Adja's reign of terror, and a happy ending for Meghla in the Bajwa family. Meghla later receives a bravery medal from the Indian government for her act of heroism, helping defeat the terrorists who hijacked an Indian plane. The Bajwas celebrate her with happiness and love. The episode ends on a joyful note, with the entire Bajwa family coming together for a group photo, smiling proudly in their moment of unity and celebration. That's a wrap on Sacred Love Fams. See you in the next. Much love.